Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Nate, the lawyer. I gotta fix up my earphones are good. How's everybody doing tonight? I haven't. It's funny because I don't do as many live streams as I used to do. So this is like getting to be a rarity for me because I'm doing more produced content. But how's everybody doing tonight? It's so this farce ends tonight. Yeah, it hasn't been it's been a very interesting 24 hours to say the least. We've had like so many different things happen, and first I want to thank everybody who's watching. Thanks for stopping by. I know there's a whole bunch of stuff going on at this time. Um, oh shit, let me turn on. Sorry, just let me go to my channel so I can see what you guys are saying in the chat. All right, I can see you guys now. All right, so as I was saying, as you know, every week, me and Uncivil Law, we do this show. And we switch week to week. We go from my channel, then we go to Emily's. I mean, we go from my channel to Kurt's channel, my channel, back and forth every Wednesday, and it's been amazing. But obviously, this morning we were on today about what everybody, unless you've been under the rock, you've seen the storming of the Capitol building. And I'll just give my quick thoughts before I bring Kurt in. Oh yeah, I got my Superman tattoo. I'm tatted. For those of you who didn't know, so if they ever find a body, I got a tat on. So the first thing I want to talk about is I just want to be clear is that what happened today, that was insane. It just was. It was insane. You got to condemn violence. You got to condemn what happened. And I think no matter if it's on the left, on the right, this is just something that's unacceptable, right? Some people are on Twitter saying the court has blood on its hands. That's ridiculous, right? The judges are only reading the law. They make rulings. They don't have blood on their hands because they come to a certain decision. That's dumb talk. That's stupid talk, right? The courts don't have blood on their hands. I think you may be even able to make a better argument for the media, but the courts have no blood on their hands. This is just ridiculous. I also want to tell people I've always remembered, and maybe it might just be my training as a lawyer, that no matter what happens, right, in that courtroom, when a decision is made, you work within the bounds of the law to make it happen, right? You work within the bounds of the law, and win or lose, it's that's the final decision. And the last time we tried to do this was a civil war, right? Where the country wasn't happy with the law and wanted to change it, and one part of the country wanted to change it, the other part, and then we fought it out, right? I don't think we're all so different. I don't think my conservative brothers, they want the same thing that I want, and I want the same thing they want. I want this country to be the greatest country on the goddamn planet. I want to carry my gun. I want to love my women. I want my children to be successful. We all want the same thing, right? But it's how we get there together. So just the news of the night, Congress is obviously going forward. Now, from what I'm hearing, all the objections have going to be kaput. So they're going to certify Joe Biden officially tonight as president-elect of the United States. That's going to happen. They said they will do that. The protest, it really just took up all the time for them to argue it out on the floor. Today at the Capitol, you had one death. Former President Barack Obama saying that it is President Trump's fault. So they're saying that he's in charge of the rioting and all this other stuff. But I do want to say to my loyal supporters and the people who watch this show, I'm going to get this for another super chat. Oh, mate, everything is fine. Do not condemn things you do not know about. Remember, the Capitol is still standing. No one took over. It's good. No, bombs were taken to the Capitol. People were, somebody actually died and people were assaulted. It's not just all good. I'm condemning those actions. Yes, those actions should be condemned. I'm sorry. I disagree. Thanks for the super chat, but I disagree. Yes, just because everything's all right now, somebody did die. Bombs were taken to the perimeter. And for those who don't know, they had bombs there. It's everything. So I just want to say before we get into this and before we get into the whole thing, we're going to be okay. Your tomorrow is going to be all right. We will survive this. And, at the end of the day, if you agree with me or you disagree with me, it's not about it. We should, as a country, we're above this. This happened. We can't go back and change that, but we can change what we do in the future. Now, let me bring on the one, the only Uncivil Law. Boom. What's going on?
Boom, indeed. Cheers to you, sir.
I'm drinking Russian vodka tonight. Why?
Ooh.
Because, it's the end of the Russia gate. We won't hear anything about Russia for the next 4 years. So, so what are your feelings about what's happened today?
Well, I'm very irritated. I super chatted on Emily's stream. I said, "Whatever happened to the pillory?" Because the way I feel right about now is I want to find everyone who was involved in storming the Capitol. I want them put them in a pillory. I want to throw tomatoes at them. That feels like the most just thing that I could possibly do. I want to bring back the pillory and throw tomatoes at them. Somehow that will make me feel better.
Oh, be safe, crazy times. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, but you know, it's interesting. So we predicted today, right after the whole violence broke out, we predicted that the objections would go the way of the dinosaur, right? They would go the way of the dinosaur.
They are now. Because it's all fun and games until someone gets hurt.
Yeah.
And this whole thing was a show. And I basically could have written every speech for the Democrats and every speech for the Republicans last night. It's like all I have to do is basically come up with the 15 or 20 talking points, put them in a grab bag, pick 3, and that's your speech, for each side. It's like this issue. It's like, yeah, it's completely predictable, and it was for show. And then this thing happened where people are storming the Capitol and committing acts of insurrection and sedition. And my irritation level's very high. These people are horrible. And I echo the comments of the minority leader, Schumer. Still the minority leader for the moment.
Still, yeah.
Minority leader Schumer, who said, those people should be found and prosecuted and given no mercy. I'm like, yeah. I was wondering, can I charge like literally everyone who stormed the Capitol with felony murder now?
Nah, you know what? I think what happens is, and most people don't know this, but what happens at protests is that usually if you have a couple of bad apples, because I was reading a couple of reports. You get a couple of people who do something crazy, and then other people get emboldened to do other stuff crazy. So you know what I mean? It's not like all those people were there just to be bad people. Some people just got caught up in a moment, and I understand that. But somebody did die, so it's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's a real problem. And beyond, well, I don't know beyond that or not, but there were pipe bombs and other explosives, IEDs there. So people came prepared. People came with pry bars and other tools,
guns, and and
I don't know if people brought guns. I haven't been able to hear that, but the pipe bombs for sure.
Ugh. This is live reporting in Sweden at 2 a.m. Now you have the BC usually. I can't even read. How we know it's big BC. Usually we don't have 24-hour news cycle. That you guys do. Interesting. Yeah, but because we got to know all the time. That's right. But so now it's a matter of academics, right? Trump is going to lose today. So what do you think today? What do you think today?
Did you see that they suspended his account on Twitter for 12 hours?
Did you see what he wrote?
I did see what he wrote, but
it's a little crazy.
I mean, thank God for that. So I'm kind of hoping that. I'm hoping what I was hoping before. I'm hoping his account will be banned. He'll be banned off Facebook and Twitter, and he'll disappear, and we'll never hear from him again. And then the Republican Party can recover, and that'll be great.
Well, just
we can all pretend the whole thing never happened.
Lawful from Georgia.
Yeah, she gave a good speech on the floor.
But now, do you see Twitter? They're all throwing her under the bus. They're all saying she's a traitor. Because she won't object, so she's a traitor and all this other stuff. So,
she gave a very nice speech on the floor of the Senate about how democracy and the rule of law and stuff like that, and she wants to honor the results. And Mike Pence over here is actually honoring his constitutional oath, and apparently Trump's salty about it. Apparently, Pence himself was the one who called the National Guard, which I didn't know was a thing he could do. But that's what
Yeah.
they're saying. Pence called the National Guard to come in. So
That's
apparently
weird.
they took command from Pence, which I didn't know that's possible. So that's the thing that apparently happened.
That might have been a 25th Amendment type thing that happened, though. That might be something because that's what that tells me. Like somebody, in other words, somebody made a call like, "Yo, we might be doing something here." Because usually he's not the commander in chief, right?
No, he's
President's
decidedly
commander in
not.
chief. Yes, I don't even. What
So I don't
authority
know if
does he have?
I don't know. Maybe as president of the Senate, he has some sort of authority because he has the authority to call National Guard as some sort of leader of DC or something. I don't know. But apparently that's the thing that happened. I don't know. But apparently that's the thing that happened. Someone will tell me later, I assume.
So I don't know. Do we? It's because we have so much we can talk about. But let's go up to the live coverage of what's happening with
The Senate is back in session. Thank God for that.
the Senate and the House. Well, let me turn this up.
And I regret that I have no rucksack to pack for my country.
You know what?
Pilot.
I don't know what she's saying. She lost her place.
Nor am I asking for any grand gesture from my Republican colleagues. All that I'm asking of you is to reflect on the oaths that you have sworn, on the damage done to our union today, and on the sacrifices made by those who've given so much to this nation.
They're just going to pro
The
clutch
service
now.
members at Fort Huachuca,
Well,
but
they have a little bit of entitlement at this point.
Bent America's moral arc a bit more towards justice with every single step that they took, every bridge that they crossed. Then ask yourself whether the democracy they were willing to bleed for, the country that each of us in this chamber has sworn to defend, is worth damaging in order to protect the porcelain ego of a man who treats the Constitution as if it were little more than a yellowing piece of paper. I think we all know the right answer.
I yield my time.
Majority Leader.
So this is Senate.
I yield up to 5 minutes to the senator from Kentucky, Senator Paul.
Senator from Kentucky.
Oh my God!
I
They're
wrote a
going to
speech
go
for today. I was planning to say that I fear the chaos of establishing a precedent that Congress can overturn elections. Boy, was I right. Chaos, anarchy. The violence today was wrong and un-American.
He's looking good. I'll give him that.
Is
Oh, yeah.
incredibly important. Now more than ever,
He was on the verge of death there for a little bit. So
Congress
That's
override
true.
the certified results from the states and nullify the states' rights to conduct elections.
Libertarian
The
speech
vote today
here.
is not a protest. The vote today is literally to overturn elections. We've been told that this is a protest. Well, this is about an electoral commission. No, it's not. It's about whether to seat the electors that have been certified by a state. It's not about an electoral commission. It's not about a protest. You can go outside if you want to protest.
I'm a little bit surprised
is
they're still
about
speaking. I would have half
overturning
expected them to come in and be like,
Vote.
"Yeah,
vote,
can we
vote,
just,
vote.
can I move by acclamation that we just all go back to the House and say we changed our mind? Can we do
This
that?"
would doom the Electoral College forever. It was never intended by our founders that
Ugh.
Congress have the power to overturn state certified elections. My oath to the Constitution doesn't allow me to disobey the law. I can't vote to overturn the verdict of states. Such a vote would be to overturn everything held dear by those of us who support the rights of states in this great system of federalism.
That was your argument, the state
Proposed
rights
to us by our
argument.
founders. The
It's a classic
Electoral College
conservative
was
argument.
created
Yeah.
to devolve the power of selecting presidential electors.
Did you see that there was people with the Confederate flag
without question
in the interior of
an
the
inseparable friend to those
building
Yeah. Oh,
today
yeah.
with the protest?
every American across
I
our
saw
vast
that.
country
That was a nice little
deserves
touch.
to be heard.
Live streaming
If
it. It's like,
Congress
what?
were to
What?
give
You live streaming
the
your crimes?
power to overturn the state's election.
Well, that's
what
nothing
terrible-
new. I
We
mean,
are
people
going
do
to
that
take
all
a
the
quick
time.
break now, but we'll be right back with the rest of your day's news. You're streaming
they're taking a-
CBSN, CBS.
They're taking a
Apparently, one of the West Virginia State House members was there and live streaming them storming the Capitol.
Oh my God. Yo, so you know what? Let's talk. Let's switch gears while they're gone to talk about the Katie Joy, Tati Westbrook lawsuit, baby. We got to
Oh, you want to
talk
talk about
that.
T?
Oh, we got to talk about the
You want to talk about T rather than the coup?
No, we can go back to the coup, but now let's talk about the tea because I think everybody knows what's going on, right?
All
So
right,
let's talk about the tea. Okay, so So right now we have. So just so everybody knows, Tati Westbrook, who has like 9 million subscribers, is suing Katie Joy Paulson, who has 130,000 subscribers, right, for defamation. So this case has been what's the name? There was a complaint put in. The complaint alleged all this stuff, and then there was a motion to dismiss that was put in, and the motion to dismiss was lacking, for a better word, right? Kurt said it was the best motion to dismiss he's ever read, right?
Did I say that? I don't seem to remember saying that.
No, it was the opposite way. But anyway, the motion to dismiss was pretty bad. So there were some new papers. Now I watched Kurt's stream where he did his little. What did you do your? For Halo Beauty, which is great.
Did my impromptu ads for Halo Beauty? Halo Beauty, there for you in your trying times.
So what did you think about the response? Like I saw your stream. I thought the response is good, but I still feel like Katie's like the lawyer, Saltsy, is punching down to Katie's lawyer. Like there's no competition here, right? It's like he's like,
well, he's doing his job. He's doing his job professionally, and he's winning. So
he's winning.
I didn't have any particular objection to it. I thought it was a lot of fun. My response, if I'm Katie's lawyer, my response is to basically say there's nothing differentiated here. I don't think it's a winning argument, but that's my argument. Because she has a supporter. First of all, the fact that she couldn't remember acknowledging a Washington person one time on stream, it's like, okay, give me a break. We don't remember everything. So sure, that happened. Fine. But my argument, if I'm Katie's lawyer, is there's nothing differentiated here. She has supporters in Washington. People give her super chats. They give her super chats from everywhere. She's not particularly targeting people in Washington for super chats. She's not particularly targeting them from subscribers. They subscribe, and she's a channel of 150,000, so she has members basically from everywhere. She's not doing anything to like purposefully try to get people specifically from Washington. Now that argument doesn't work because the rebuttal to that is, or if I'm Tati's lawyer, my rebuttal is, okay, fine, but she did pull all these documents and she's been specifically targeting this company that she knows to be Washington. So, but she has specific availment with respect to that. And that's why the argument doesn't work. So that's my argument for both sides, and I think Tati's lawyer has the better end of the argument.
Well, they're talking about discovery too now, right? Where they're going to be going.
They have and the fact they have. Does it strike you as a little bit early for a joint agreement on discovery?
It absolutely makes
motions to dismiss pending.
I would wait for that.
Yeah, so it's like
it absolutely makes no sense. Yeah, well, it means they're going to discovery. It means you're going to have an answer, and they're going to go to discovery because I don't know. It's God bless. Hey, you're going to continue to cover the case. God bless whatever happens with that case, because they
put in notice to the court is like, we're going to be asking for more time for the depositions. We're gonna need some more time. Just to let you know, we're going to be asking you for some more time for depositions. It's like, I definitely want a transcript of that. For sure. Salty better give me a copy of the transcripts. I'm just saying. He tweeted a picture of me. He loves me now.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Matter of fact, I sent that to you. Let's get back to the show. All right, so now we got some more. I don't know if this is a Republican or a Democrat. They got to put the names.
This last election, in which there are over 2.5 million mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania. This is my point.
What is your point?
That this is the forum. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court hasn't heard the case. There's no other court to go to hear the case in the state, and so this is the appropriate place for these concerns to be raised.
Sure, it doesn't mean that there's anything here to say either.
The body will not miss the opportunity to take affirmative action to address the concerns of so many millions.
Wait, you wanted them to take affirmative action? I thought we were against that.
That violence is never warranted, that violence will not be tolerated, that those who engage in it will be prosecuted, but that this body will act to address the concerns of all Americans across the country. We do need an investigation into irregularities, fraud. We do need.
I have no particular objection to that, and whatever makes elections more secure, I think that's fair.
Don't disagree with that. We need to find a way to move forward on that together, so that the American people from both parties, all walks of life, can have confidence in their elections, and that we can arrange ourselves under the rule of law that we share together. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
Democratic leader.
Senator from Pennsylvania, Mr. Casey.
Senator from Pennsylvania.
Oh, so this is the Senate. They're just going through it. Oh, because the
Yeah.
House isn't going back till not. Well, they should be back in now.
I rise tonight to defend the people of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Can we just
To defend the more than
move to
6.9
accept by
million
acclamation
voters
and call it a day?
who voted in this election.
Let's just
and
vote. In
condemn
fact, we don't even need to vote.
in the
Let's just
strongest
accept by
possible
acclamation.
terms
Everyone agrees and we all go
attempt
home.
to disenfranchise the voters of Pennsylvania based upon a lie, a falsehood. That same lie sowed the seeds of today's violence and today's lawlessness here in the Capitol.
Hmm.
One of my constituents, Susan from the Lehigh Valley, the community of our state where Senator Toomey lives, recently wrote to my office and perhaps said it best. She said, and I quote, "We cannot allow anybody to overturn the legal votes of the citizens of Pennsylvania. This would be the ultimate destruction of our democracy," unquote. Susan had it right. We cannot allow anybody, and she put that word in all caps,
Yeah, but
to overturn the legal votes of the people of our state. Let me address the
one thing here is that they don't have the votes now. They obviously
No, they don't, have, the votes. They don't have the
right?
votes. Not
So,
anything close
why
to the
continue
votes.
this? So why continue this? Why go through this?
I don't know.
It's
I don't know why.
Democrat.
I don't know why to continue the kabuki. I don't know. Why don't we just move? That's why I say why don't we just come in the door, move to accept by acclamation. We're done. We agree
Yeah,
unanimously. There's nothing to do here, and we're done.
Because it just makes no sense. Because it's like, especially now with Rand Paul out. Even if you had all the other Republicans vote the other way, they still lose. So I don't know.
House and Senate. It was only after the 2020 election when it became clear that President-elect Joe Biden won Pennsylvania by a little more than 80,000 votes, did some Republican politicians in our state decide to challenge the constitutionality of the law. Second, Act 77 is plainly constitutional. My colleagues allege that the state constitution requires in-person voting except under limited circumstances. This is not true. While Pennsylvania lays out specific situations in which absentee voting is required, there is no in-person requirement in our state's constitution. The Constitution set a floor, not a ceiling.
No!
For this type of voting.
That means Kurt was right.
Second,
That's what he
Right,
said.
baby. Don't bet against,
said
don't
you're
bet against
right.
me, baby. Don't bet against me. I know what I'm talking
bipartisan
about.
agreement across our state.
Let me.
At the local, state, and federal
People
level.
keep betting against me, and I'm just like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I know my stuff.
So the reason why I kind of stopped it there is because we were all in our little YouTube legal community. We had a split in the caucus. So myself, Viva, Barnes, Nick, and R&R, we all believed that the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania was wrong, right? That they had 4 specific ways you could do absentee voting, and we said, well, those are the only ways. Kurt said, no, when I read it, those aren't the only ways. Those are just the ways you have to give, but you could give more. It wasn't a limiting principle, but it was like, if you're going to do mail-in voting, you got to do it these 4 ways, or 4 ways you can do it, but it doesn't limit you from doing it other ways. So we had it was like an 8-1 decision. Everybody thought one way. Kurt was the lone man, right? And we all said, Kurt, your argument is good, but we think it's the other way. And now both the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania and this senator both have said that Kurt is right. So Kurt, take your bow. You are the one vote out of all of us who was right about this issue. I hate your guts.
You know, some of us paid attention to law school. I guess, so.
Whatever, man. Whatever. Let's get back to the show. Pay
In
attention.
blue counties, they did their jobs. They are patriots, and these objections are an attack on these Pennsylvania public servants. Give you one example. Republican Commissioner Al Schmidt, I should say, of Philadelphia. He wrote, and I said, and he wrote, as I will quote as follows, quote, there really should not be a disagreement, regardless of party affiliation, when we're talking about counting votes by eligible voters. It's not a very controversial thing, or at least it shouldn't be, unquote. After Election Day, Commissioner Al Schmidt, his family, and his colleagues were subjected to death threats simply because he was trying to do his job with integrity. It calls to mind, Mr. President, that great line from America the Beautiful, "Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years." These election officials, like so many of our patriots, we heard from Senator Duckworth tonight, a real patriot. These patriots did their job. Let's support these patriots. Vote against this objection.
Majority Leader.
I yield 5 minutes to the senator from Utah, Senator Romney.
Oh my
Senator from
God.
Utah.
Woohoo.
Mr. President, today
Romney.
was heartbreaking, and I was shaken to the core as I thought about the people I met in China and Russia and Afghanistan and Iraq and other places who yearn for freedom and who look to this building and these shores as a place of hope. And I saw the images being broadcast around the world, and it breaks my heart.
He looks a little shaken up too.
I have 25 grandchildren. Many of them were watching TV, thinking about this building, whether their grandpa was okay. I knew I was okay. I must tell you as well, I was proud to serve with these men and women. This is an extraordinary group of people. I'm proud to be a member of the United States Senate and meet with people of integrity as we do here today. Now we gather due to a selfish man's injured pride
Wow.
and the outrage of supporters who he has deliberately misinformed for the past 2 months and stirred to action this very morning. What happened here today was an insurrection incited by the President of the United States. Those who choose to continue to support his dangerous gambit by objecting to the results of a legitimate democratic election will forever be seen as being complicit in an unprecedented attack against our democracy.
Oh wow.
Fairly or not, they'll be remembered for their role in the shameful episode in American history. That will be their legacy.
Yeah, this guy's not pulling
I
any punches.
salute Senator Langford and Loeffler and Braun and Daines, and I'm sure others, who in the light of today's outrage have withdrawn their objection. For any who remain insistent on an audit in order to satisfy the many people who believe that the election was stolen, I'd offer this perspective. No congressional audit is ever going to convince these voters, particularly when the president will continue to say that the election was stolen.
That's true.
The best way we can show respect for the voters who are upset is by telling them the truth.
Oh wow. Usually don't get the claps because it takes you away from your time.
That's the burden. That's the duty of leadership. The truth is that President-elect Biden won the election. President Trump lost. I've had that experience myself. It's no fun. Scores of courts, the president's own attorney general, state election officials, both Republican and Democrat, have reached that unequivocal decision. And in light of today's sad circumstances, I asked my colleague, do we weigh our own political fortunes more heavily than we weigh the strength of our republic, the strength of our democracy, and the cause of freedom? What's the weight of personal acclaim compared to the weight of conscience? Leader McConnell said that the vote today is the most important in his 36 years of public service. Think of that. Authorizing 2 wars, voting on 2 impeachments. He said that not because the vote reveals something about the election, it's because this vote reveals something about us. I urge my colleagues to move forward with completing the electoral count, to refrain from further objections, and to unanimously affirm the legitimacy of the presidential election. Thank you, Mr. President.
It laid it down.
Democratic Leader.
Senator from New Hampshire, Senator Shaheen.
Oh my God.
Senator
Like,
from New Hampshire.
this is why people don't like the fucking politics.
On
It's like,
January
why are we doing
3rd,
this?
I, along with 31 of my colleagues, stood in
Like at this point now, what the hell are we doing? Like, why are we hearing this woman speak? Like, they should have been like, all right, listen.
I do not approve of this scarf.
Yeah, the scarf is pretty big.
I also don't really particularly approve of the color of this suit.
That's below. She's a Democrat. At this point in time, do we still want to hear any more of these?
Very Poppinsy or something. I don't know. It's not doing anything for me.
Do you want to hear any more of these, or should we look for something else? Because this is now just starting to
Let's talk about literally anything else.
Yeah. And listen, I feel bad because people are here wanting to hear. So just a quick update so everybody understands what's happening on your screen. Let me put it back on the screen. So the House and Senate have come back, and they are now going to certify Joe Biden as the winner tonight, as a rebuke of the violence that happened earlier today.
Why are they still talking though? It's like, yeah.
Now, supposedly they've reached a backroom deal, as you know what goes on in the back room, that the objections, they're actually speaking about the Arizona objection, that they will not do any more objections going on the rest of the evening.
Yeah.
So that's supposedly the thing, to get it done tonight. So I don't know if now also there's been talk. Somebody's asking a question about impeaching Trump again. It's good because I was about to say talk about that. Now people are talking about, okay, well, what does it matter? Can you impeach Trump now? And if you impeach it again? Well, impeachment has two roles. It removes the person from office, but it also bars the person from ever coming back into office again.
It also takes away all their ancillary benefits. So takes away their pension and their Secret Service protection and all that crap.
Yes. So, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think you can. I still don't think even what happened today. I still think you're going to get people who are not going to be down with that. So, but that's where we're at now. Another interesting thing that happened that most people don't realize is that the GOP has 51 senators now. They're supposed to have 52, but the other senator from Georgia, his term expired, so he cannot vote. But Senator Lawful, who gave a speech earlier, can vote. So she is actually, which is crazy. The appointed senator can still vote, so she can still vote, and she's withdrawn her objection to the process. So now they're taking the 5 minutes to just waste our time so they can speak on the floor about how horrible one was. Then they're supposed to go back to the joint session, and if there's no more objections, they will be done. So I don't know if there's any more to say about that, but I do think that it's democracy in action. So we'll see. I'm glad they went back, but this one Bonfire says, Nate, we listen to them all because every state is under fire for not letting their constituents be heard. Crappy, but when you silence even the futile speech is how we get violence. Scarf sucks. Yes. The scarf does suck, but this is an impassioned speech. So at the end of the day, what is this going to come down to?
It's going to come down to a lot of people being charged with a lot of crimes, trespassing on federal property for a bare minimum, destruction of property, interference with official operations, obstruction, interference with police, sedition if someone wants to get really bold. It's going to come down to a whole lot of stuff. That's what it's going to come down to.
Oh yeah. One thing, let's talk about Jacob Blake. Let me get this super chat from 13th. Thank you for a year of great content. Thank you, Dominique. I appreciate it. Thank you for the $13.99 Canadian. So let's talk about Jacob Blake. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jacob Blake is the young man. Let me pull this up. He's a young man who was shot in the back by police during the incident. I forget what it was in Kenosha, the same place where the other kid is at. He was shot in the back by police, and people are upset because he didn't get charged. People are saying, "Oh my God, he didn't get charged! Oh my God, he didn't get charged." So I want to show you guys a couple of things within this. I want to show you first the 911 call. Here is the 911. No, this is the dispatch. I want to let you guys hear the 911 call that police got before they went to the house, to the place with Jacob Blake. So you're going to hear the call right now, which is pretty startling. Make sure this is it. Oops.
His update is that he is still on a daily basis suffering the injuries that he first suffered at court.
This is Jacob Blake. Here we go.
Can you turn it up?
All right, I'm gonna turn it up. Hold on, let me make sure I turn it up as loud as it can go. Turn this up as loud as it can go. All right, this is it.
Yes, I'm the officer of 2805 40th Street, Unit D. 2805 40th Street, letter D.
Can you hear that?
Yes, letter D as in David. Jacob Blake is here, and he has the keys to a rental that I purchased that I need to take back, and he's not trying to release it. And on top of that, he's not supposed to be here. Today is his son's birthday, so I allowed him to spend a couple hours with him, but he's not giving me the keys to this rental. And that's all I'm asking for. I never would have called you guys. I promise you, I tried to keep from calling you guys. He's crashed numerous of my vehicles in the past, and I literally just bought one, like yesterday. And so just because he heard some false information, he's not willing to give me the keys to this car that doesn't even belong to me. Me and my sister just saw him start off in it and turn around and come back. So I need you guys to come in. I need you to. Okay, what is your name? My name is LaQuisha Booker. Go ahead and tell the girl that. Go ahead and tell them that. Do not put your shoes on. The police are on their way here. Yes, it is. Do not put your shoes on. This will go back. You didn't even want to go outside. Is Jacob there right now? Yes, and he's trying to kiss his skin so he can hurry up and leave. He was here just talking all types of crazy, and now he's walking off now. Now he's getting ready to leave. Well, let me get the license plate. Okay, and is he white, black, Hispanic? Hold on, let me get the license plate number. He's kissing the rest of his kids.
Sorry if it's a little tough to hear.
It's IDJ 935. Then Ida, Zebra, J, and John. No, IDJ 935. Good luck. Be like Victor? Yeah, he has a Victor. Okay. And he's probably got to go crash. He's pulling off right now. IDJ 935.
Now, just so everybody understands what the call was, if that was hard to hear. So Jacob Blake, so that's the mother of his children, is calling the police saying that Jacob Blake is stealing her car, and he's stolen her car before, and he's crashed it before just to spite her. So she has a rental car, and she's saying that, hey, he's taking my keys, and now he's taking my car, and the kids actually happen to be in the car. So she's calling the police because she's saying, hey, listen, this guy is doing this. I didn't even want to call you guys, but I'm afraid he's going to take the car and damage my property. And can you stop? And can you stop him? Right? It's a domestic violence call. So the news media at first had said that. Remember, they were saying that he was there breaking up a fight between two women, and got shot in the back. Mm-hmm. That's a total lie. That's a total lie. He wasn't breaking up a fight with two women. He was there, and he had an order of protection against him where he wasn't supposed to be there anyway. So that's the first piece of this, which I think people need to understand. And it's weird because when the police get the call about Jacob Blake, you know how they have to run the background report. So let me show you guys this. So they get the dispatch call, right? So dispatch looks him up. Dispatch says, well, hold on, let me look him up. And I want to show you what happens when dispatch does that, so you guys can see. So dispatch calls you, hey, we got a domestic, guys trying to steal a car. This is what happened before. This is what dispatch then sends to the officers who are going to go to the scene. So this is from Kenosha itself. This is their report. And so here is the arrest warrant for Jacob Blake. So they get this arrest warrant. Jacob Blake, he's got an arrest warrant. And this is a felony arrest warrant for criminal trespass, domestic abuse, and sexual abuse, domestic abuse, disorderly conduct. So he has this warrant, this felony warrant, for his arrest. And in the police procedures, if a person has a valid warrant, is contacted intentionally or by coincidence, there is no discretion regarding service of the warrant. In other words, you must be arrested. So if you got a warrant for your arrest, you must be arrested. So Jacob Blake, when they got there, that's what they were doing. They were arresting him for the felony warrant that he had. That's where you start getting the first scene where you remember he was wrestling with the cops on the floor, and people were like, why was he wrestling with the cops on the floor? He then gets up. Now, people don't. Now, this is the next part of this where I think a lot of people are just misinformed with. The media kept saying Jacob Blake was unarmed. So here's the enhanced video. And you can see when he's walking away from the car, he does have a knife in his hand. So remember when the cops had the guns pointed at him? And this is it enhanced in the video. He did have a knife in his hand when the cops were after.
Did you scroll up again to the picture of the knife?
There it is.
Yeah, that's the actual knife that was found at the scene, right? Because
Yes.
I've never actually seen the actual knife before. I saw pictures of what they thought it was, but not the actual knife.
This is the knife. This was remember, he was leaning into the car, so it fell in
Yeah.
the car, so this is where it was fell. But this is him walking with it from the police, and they enhanced. So you got a guy who just is arguing with police. This is the cop. He's armed, and police are trying to effectuate an arrest. Now remember, the police do not have discretion when it comes to this. They don't have discretion. So he has a knife. They got to arrest him. He's taking the car. Now the children are in the car. He has the knife going to the car, and now he's reaching into the passenger side. So that's when the shots were fired. So one thing I want to show people is that listen to the way the news media covered this story. Covered this story at the beginning. It's shocking
No,
how
it's
wrong
totally
it
fucked
is.
up. It's totally fucked up.
No, but I think the key here is for us to listen to actually what the news story was, because I think it's going to shock people.
Yeah,
Exactly
okay, let's
what
listen to some bullshit. This will be good.
Of course, we got to listen to the bullshit. So check this out. This is an actual report from the news media about the death of Jacob Blake when it happened.
Outrage and calls for fundamental change in the criminal justice system, the country is once again reacting to a controversial near-fatal police encounter between a black man and a white police officer, this time in Kenosha, Wisconsin. That's 29-year-old Jacob Blake in the white t-shirt walking back to his vehicle over
You
the
can't see the
weekend
knife?
after he reportedly broke up a domestic dispute between two women.
That's not what happened.
Cell phone video surrounded by police officers with their guns drawn. One of the officers is then seen following Blake as he begins to get back into his car, where Blake's 3 young children were sitting inside. One of the officers grabs Blake from behind and fires several shots at Blake's back, hitting him 7 times.
What is that with that watch band? What's that
I don't know.
bullshit?
It's pretty much. I don't know. I think they're showing
No,
somebody.
it's
in
not.
the-
It's a piece of shit.
But listen, it doesn't even get worse. So here's CNN, right? So now here's CNN covering the story, and I want you and we don't have to listen to this. I want you guys to look at the banner that CNN puts up, because again they're covering the story. Remember, this is news. They're dealing with facts. Look at the banner and look what the banner said.
Is this the fiery but mostly peaceful? That's a good one too.
Although let me pull this up. Where we at? All right, so look what this is. 8 p.m. curfew ordered after protest over police shooting of an unarmed black man in Wisconsin.
He wasn't unarmed. He was
So-
armed.
So now I say that to say this. This is it's early, because earlier we were having a discussion about the media. This is what I think angers so many on the right about the media. This
They
is
suck
just
ass.
this. I don't even know if this. What's the difference between disinformation and misinformation?
Well, I suppose disinformation implies that you're deliberately creating it.
Because it almost seems like this is disinformation at this point in time. Like to get those main facts. He had a weapon. What was the call about? The call was about him having a felony warrant and stealing a car. He was there breaking up a fight between 2 women. All
No, he
lies.
wasn't.
All lies,
He
right?
was there
Those
to
were all
commit
lies.
kidnapping and domestic violence.
Yes. And with a
That's
felony
kind of
warrant.
different.
No. But the thing is that you have so many people, so many good-intentioned people out there who believe that this guy was shot. Don't forget, LeBron
No,
James
it's
was saying
it's
this.
so
all
much
this stuff.
disinformation. It's the same thing that happened with Breonna Taylor. It's the same thing that happened in Atlanta. It's so much disinformation, so much shit. And it's getting a little bit tiresome. where we could actually discuss the facts and what actually happened. Maybe if we look at it, we could actually adjudicate it, like civilized people in a calm and reasonable way about what did or did not occur. That might be nice. And then we could have an actual factual picture and we could adjudicate based on that. Whoa, deep concepts.
But don't get me wrong. I police violence is something that I think we should all be, it's something, but at a certain point in time, the police there's a job that they have to do. And I definitely understand you would rather have them do it without the violence. But come on, at this point in time, the guy has a knife. The guy is stealing a car. They called there for a felony warrant. And now they want to, this officer wasn't charged, not because he wanted to kill this guy. It was because the guy was reaching into the car and he had a knife. And on top of that, he turned around and presented the knife to the cop before he fired. And it's frustrating because there are people who will never understand the nuance in this story and still go around with saying that this guy was unarmed, because that's the first thing they hear from the media. Go ahead, Kurt. I'm sorry if I cut you off.
No, I was just saying how I hate everybody, and this is the reason why. It's like I do enough 1983 cases with qualified immunity on my channel to know that the police sometimes go outside of their purview. And I've seen enough videos of enough traffic stops to know things can go really wrong really fast. So I think there needs to be accountability on both sides of the equation. But I get more than a little bit irritated. They're still talking about Breonna Taylor. They're still talking about that. They're still talking about Jacob Blake when the facts seem pretty clear. It doesn't seem difficult. But it's just it's like, what were the police supposed to do? This I do not understand. And Jacob Blake, what do they think the police should have done?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to these questions.
I don't know. Don't get me wrong. Like the recent one that just happened with the guy was in his garage and he's got his cell phone out and he gets shot. That's something different. All police.
We want to defund the police. I wonder if Congress wants to defund the police, including perhaps the Capitol Hill police. I'm real glad they didn't defund them right about now. Jackasses.
Yeah. Defund the police is a slogan which it's so stupid. Let me not get into defund the police. I appreciate and follow you both. Thanks for covering things accurate since the news is dishonest. Viva and B are good, but both of you always keep it honest. Thank you so much, Lucas G. I appreciate the $5, $4.99. That's an iPhone. $5, but emotional responses sell. Reason responses.
Yeah, I'm trying to steer into the skid. I mean, I'm watching what Nick Requeta is doing.
R&R.
R&R is doing, and I'm there is a serious part of me that is pondering going full QAnon. I'll just say everything QAnon says is great. The election was stolen. You've been lied to by the media. All the court cases are shills. John Roberts is part of the plant of the corruption and blah, 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 whatever. Because apparently if I do that, I get 250,000 subs. And it's looking really tempting right about now.
Because I think there's so many people who want to hear the election was stolen, right? They want to hear that. I wanted to hear that in 2000 with Gore. I wanted to hear the election was stolen. And in 2004, I was glad it didn't happen. After 9/11, I was like, thinking, shit, I won this one because I'd rather have Bush than Gore, especially after the terrorist attacks. But I don't know. I think some of the today people don't want to hear the truth. They really want to hear what they believe, what they already believe. And it's hard because if you do give the truth or you do try to give people reasoned opinions, if it's not what they want to hear, they're going to hate you for it, and that's, and you've even got some of that with the Nick, what's his name? The Vic
Mignogna.
Yeah. So
yeah, no, I got some hate on Vic Mignogna because I have the wrong opinion or something.
It is what it is. It is what it is. So
I'm waiting for the Court of Appeals to come down any day. So hopefully I can put that case to bed.
Vic Mignogna. Vic. So now
the Court of Appeals should be coming down pretty soon. They've been sitting on that case for 3 months and change. At this point, I think they have 6 months by rule, but they could extend that presumably because of COVID. But yeah, they should be coming down with that opinion fairly soon. So we'll see if I'm right, or if I have to eat all the words and wait for this to go through more cycles of pain.
Oh wow! Oh, breaking news right now. the cabinet
Why am I wrong?
considering the cabinet's considering removing Trump from office.
Really?
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, that's the headline right now. But that'll be a shit show. Like, is that really going to happen? Is that really going to happen? What do you think the chances are of that?
At this point, I think the odds are actually not bad.
What?
I mean, because you're talking about a difference of 2 weeks. You're talking about 14 days. It would give the Republicans a powerful rebuke of Trump for not much cost and allow them to save some face.
Yeah.
I could see it happening.
Somebody said, Nick, can the cabinet do that? Yeah, under the 25th Amendment.
Yes, they can.
Yeah, on 25th Amendment.
Yes, they can.
But it'll be short term because they can remove him. Then he gets in a letter saying that he's back. But then the Congress they can say no, he's not back, and then Congress can do it. So
so under the 25th Amendment, they can remove him. If President Trump protests, then they have to have 21 days, I think.
Well, Congress has to do it. Congress has to do it.
Put him back. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is 21 days, right?
Yeah.
So if they vote to remove him, Congress has 21 days to decide whether or not to affirm it. But you're 14 days out. So it doesn't matter. So yeah, they could remove him and keep him out of office for the remainder of his term.
Now,
effectively.
Now, essentially, everybody's blaming Trump for this, right? They're saying this Trump more or less sent these people there. How do you feel about that? Because I kind of have mixed feelings about that. He did say go to the Capitol, but he didn't say go to the Capitol. You know what I mean? I kind of like to keep the anger on the people who actually committed them. But it seems like the narrative is now that Trump is wholly responsible for this. What do you feel? How do you feel about that?
I think he has some moral blame to be had in here, and he's been so divisive and so obstinate about the election that the cabinet removing him, invoking the 25th, it's baller. They can do it. They have no disincentive to doing it right now. Now, this isn't the same as removing him. This is gradations of technical, but they kind of matter. So it's not the same as impeaching. So President Trump isn't impeached. He isn't, in the strictest possible sense, he isn't removed from office. All of his powers just taken away. So if they invoke the 25th Amendment, President Trump is still president. He just doesn't have the power of the president. So the vice president becomes acting president. So it doesn't remove him from office. It just takes away all of his power and transfers it to Trump, or transfers it to Pence.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can do that. And it would be a very sharp rebuke. He still gets to keep all the luxury of being former president. So he still gets the Secret Service detail. It doesn't take away any benefits from him. He just doesn't have the power of the presidency for 14 days.
It says, remove him, take away his future privileges as a former president. You can impeach a president after they leave office.
Yeah, you can impeach him after he leaves office too, but it would be a powerful rebuke. I think there's a non-zero chance. If they're actually meeting to discuss it, I think it's possible.
If you start condemning someone for calling for a gathering of people, you just outlawed protests you do not like. Possible. But I think we're talking about a political question, not a legal question, I think, in this sense. Where, you
have to be careful on every possible domain. At the same time, there is lawful protests and unlawful protests, and there is time, place, manner restrictions and the rest of it. So this is probably a legal restriction under our First Amendment analysis. I mean, it was proven to be disruptive in every possible sense, and trying to put everyone back into the corner makes legal sense. So, but yeah, everything can be abused. Power can be abused. Everything can be abused. So it's a fair point. I just don't think it's abused in this particular context.
There was no fraud. Having a commission chosen by Nancy Pelosi.
Hold on.
You're looking.
Let's go back to the beginning of this guy. Here we go. Lindsey Graham.
Many times my state has been the problem. I love it. It's where I want to die, but no time soon. Tim and I.
South Carolina is beautiful. Give them that.
Yeah.
have a good relationship. I love Tim Scott. 1876, South Carolina, Louisiana, and Florida sent 2 slate of electors. They had 2 governments, by the way, and we didn't know what to do. Why did South Carolina, Florida, and Louisiana do it? To hold the country hostage to end Reconstruction. It worked. The commission was 8-7. It didn't work. Nobody accepted it. The way it ended is when Hayes did a deal with these 3 states. You give me the electors, I'll kick the Union Army out. The rest is history. It led to Jim Crow. If you're looking for historical guidance, this is not the one to pick.
It's true. Yeah.
If you're looking for a way to convince people there was no fraud, having a commission chosen by Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, and John Roberts is not going to get you to where you want to go.
Amen to that.
It's going to work.
That's true.
So it's not going to do any good. It's going to delay, and it gives credibility to a dark chapter of our history. That's why I'm not with you. But I will fight to my death for you. You're able to object. You're not doing anything wrong. Other people have objected. I just think it's a uniquely bad idea to delay this election. Trump and I, we've had a hell of a journey. I hate it being this way. Oh my God, I hate it. From my point of view, he's been a consequential president. But today, first thing you'll see. All I can say is count me out. Enough is enough. I've tried to be helpful. But when the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled 4-3 that they didn't violate the Constitution of Wisconsin, I agree with the 3, but I accept the 4. If Al Gore can accept 5-4, he's not president. I can accept Wisconsin 4-3. Pennsylvania, it went to the Second Circuit. So much for all the judges being in Trump's pocket.
That's a good point.
No, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I accept the Pennsylvania Second Circuit that Trump's lawsuit wasn't right. Georgia, they said the Secretary of State took the law in his own hands. He changed the election laws unlawfully. A federal judge said no. I accept the federal judge, even though I don't agree with it. Fraud. They said there's 66,000 people in Georgia under 18 voted. How many people believe that?
No, that doesn't sound likely.
And had one.
Give me 10.
8,000 felons in prison in Arizona voted.
That also sounds unlikely. And all voted for Biden.
That's saying there's problems in every election. I don't buy this.
Why would they vote for Biden? He's the reason they're in jail.
Vice President Pence, what they're asking you to do, you won't do because you can't. You talk about interesting times. I associate myself with Rand Paul. How many times will you hear that? The mob has done something nobody else could do to get me and Rand to agree. Rand is right. If you're a conservative, this is the most offensive concept in the world, that a single person could disenfranchise 155 million people.
That's true. If you're a conservative.
The Senate shall.
I do love myself some Lindsey Graham. I'm not going to lie.
Representatives open all certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes for president shall be president.
Preach it, brother. Preach it.
I don't like the results. I would send them back to the states. I believe there was fraud. To the conservatives who believe in the Constitution, now's your chance to stand up and be counted. Originalism, count me in. It means what it says.
It means what it says.
So, Mike, Mr. Vice President.
Invoke the 25th. Invoke the 25th. Invoke the 25th.
Count on Mike. All of us can
Fuck
count
it.
Vice President.
Go.
You're going to do the right thing. You're going to do the constitutional thing. You got a son who flies F-35s. You got a son-in-law who flies F-18s. They're out there flying so that we can get it right here. There are people dying, to my good friend from Illinois, to make sure we have a chance to argue among ourselves. And when it's over, it is over. It is over.
He said it's over, baby.
Joe Biden. I've traveled the world with Joe. I hoped he lost. I prayed he would lose. He won. He's the legitimate president of the United States. I cannot convince people, certain groups, by my words, but I will tell you by my actions. that maybe I, above all others in this body, need to say this. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are lawfully elected and will become the president and the vice president of the United States on January the 20th.
Why is the video out of sync with the audio, though?
Huh. Well, look.
Did you reload it or something? Because it's
Right now, yield
out of
back
sync.
to our time.
Maybe it might be the streaming because it's good here.
Okay, fair enough.
Expired.
Oh, hold on. All times expired.
The question is, shall the objection
Oh, it's fine. Never mind. It's fine.
of the gentleman from Arizona, Mr. Gosar, and the senator from Texas, Mr. Cruz, and others be sustained?
Okay, we're gonna vote on this now. Let's see how many
Yep.
votes he gets. Does he get any? How many no's? What do you think? You want to put some bets on it?
If they get
Is there a
10,
second?
hold on. All right,
Sounds
so
about
here
right.
it is.
There is.
Sounds about right.
If they
Clerk will
get
call
10,
the
I'll be
roll.
surprised.
Ms. Baldwin. Mr. Barrasso.
10. Can they get 10? Do you think they
Mr.
get 10?
Bennett. Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Blumenthal. Mr. Blunt.
They go in alphabetical order.
Yeah,
Mr.
of course.
Booker. Mr. Bozeman. Mr. Braun. Mr. Brown. Mr. Burr. Ms. Cantwell.
Everybody's voting no.
Mrs.
Huh?
Capito. Mr. Cardin. Mr. Carper. Mr. Casey.
You've been listening to debate on both the Senate and
Oh,
House
no, it's right
floors. This
here.
all comes after rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol building, forcing lawmakers to evacuate as they were starting to count electoral college votes. For more on what transpired today, we want to take you to a CBS News special, Assault on the Capitol.
You know that.
I was trying to listen, man. I don't want to go to C-SPAN.
I'm going to C-SPAN right now. Hold
Thank
on.
you, sir.
Right now they're going to assault on the Capitol. Let me hit up C-SPAN. I
was trying to listen. I was interested how Cruz was going to vote.
We're probably going to miss it. Let me see.
No, we did miss it. Yeah.
C-SPAN. Okay, here we go. Hold on. That's the House. I gotta get C-SPAN. The Senate. I know. You're making it hard for me, my man. You're making it hard for me. The Senate. That's the House. No, they don't have it on the Senate. They only have it.
Yes, you do. You have to look at. I think it's at the top of the window. If you go to C-SPAN.
All right, let me go here. C-SPAN Senate session. All right, got it.
There you go.
Play. Okay. Uh-oh. Man. They're almost done.
Yeah, well, give me it
they're
anyway.
an S.
Give it to me.
We're here. Boom.
Give it to me.
Mr. Scott of South Carolina. Mrs. Shaheen. Mr. Shelby. Ms. Sinema. Ms. Smith. Ms. Stabenow. Mr. Sullivan.
It seems like
Mr. Tester.
we get the last tally though at the end.
Sure.
Mr. Thune.
I'll say 9.
Phyllis.
I'm still thinking we're at.
Mr.
I'm thinking we're under
Tierney.
10. I'm thinking maybe under 5.
Mr. Tuberville.
Tuberville said 1, so you got
Mr.
1.
Van Hollen. Mr. Warner. Ms. Warren.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna be in there.
Mr. Whitehouse.
He's a no for sure.
Sure. Mr. Wyden. Mr. Young.
South Carolina represent, man.
All right.
I grew up in South Carolina, so.
Hold on, let me hear what's the final total?
I should get a palmetto flag too. Put next to the Texas flag. That'd be cool.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Trying to. All
They're
right,
trying to change the palmetto flag right now. The new design looks horrible. They proposed a new design for the flag. Looks like shit.
Trying to find out what the last thing is. Prince Christensen, thanks for the both of you of being level-headed and thorough. Brothers, I'm always suggesting people check out your stuff. Check your stuff out. I don't know why I can't read. Nate, you make a kid from Queens and adopted son of South Carolina proud. Thank you, Prince Christensen. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Sorry I chopped it all up. I'm trying to hear the final vote count, but thank you so much, Prince Christensen. I appreciate it, bro. What's going on, C-SPAN? Come on. Are they tallying up the votes? They had some votes. Uh-oh. So we know we got one, so it's not 0.
Mm-hmm.
What? Twitch ban?
Yeah. Apparently the guy who's in the image said some things they didn't approve of, so they banned the emote. So.
Oh. Then I'm going to tell the final vote count is. They must have got a couple because they still counting them. Do a voice vote.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
there
know
it
what
is.
they're doing right now.
They're tallying the vote. Here it is. So this chair is just the VP's chair because he's the president of the Senate. And that's why when all them give their speeches, it's always Mr. President. It's to the VP.
Yeah.
So they all gave their speeches. Do you think they'll do another one of these tonight?
No, they're not going to do any more protests. They're done. They're just going to go. They're going to go in and they're going to ratify the rest of the states without objection at this point.
$5 from Secret Squirrel. Are they still going to object to each one they don't agree with?
No, once they go back to the House, they'll be done within a half hour.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah. Once they go back to the House, they'll be done inside a half hour.
Well, this is so. Yeah. So Secret Squirrel. To answer your question, they have to do it each state's votes together. So they have to do it one at a time. So this is Arizona. So we actually did just 3 states, right? We did Alaska,
right.
something.
Yeah, by rule, you have to do every state individually. So if you protest, you have to do 2 hours of debate for each state. But they're done. They're going to go back and they're going to open up each state. It's going to take a little bit more than a half hour, probably, because they'll be done inside an hour for sure. So something like a half hour to an hour. They're going to be done rapidly once they go back to the House.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a quick move here. Here we go. It's like they open the mics off, then they cut them back off.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
This is why the government takes so fucking long. This is like here are the votes. 2 people said no. Let's move on. If the cabinet invokes the 25th Amendment, removes Trump, does that block Trump's ability to pardon?
Yes, he loses all the power of the presidency.
Yes. But Pence has the ability to pardon, though, as acting president.
Correct, 100%.
Good question, Lucas G.
Yeah. Yeah, Pence would become acting president for all purposes, including pardons.
Acting president. It's a hell of a title.
Yeah, he gets a little section in the future Trump library.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna happen now. I still think Trump's
What a man can dream. I mean, it would be a nice little rebuke It would be a nice little rebuke to kick his ass on the way out.
It seems like you're done with Trump, huh?
I was never a huge fan of Trump. I mean, I liked his policies. Okay, his rhetoric was horrible, and I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to move on to other things.
Yeah, the
I was
Trump
never like a huge Trump guy. I thought his policies were very good on the whole. His rhetoric sucks, and the stuff he's doing now is like, I'm ready to be done. Let's move on to other things. Let's talk about Nikki Haley 2024 or something.
She'd be such a tough candidate for the right. She'd be such a tough candidate for.
I like her though.
I like Nikki Haley too.
Yeah, maybe Nikki Haley Tulsi Gabbard thing. That's right. Woman action, baby. Yeah.
Oof, that'd be tough. But don't forget you'll have four. You got Kamala. So
Kamala doesn't have a lot of support. I mean, she only had 2% in the primary. She'll pick up some in the next 4 years. She's not a particularly strong candidate. So I don't think in 4 years.
Here we go.
On this vote, the yeas are 6, the nays are 93.
Damn.
The objection is not sustained. The Secretary will notify the House of the action of the Senate, informing that body that the Senate is now ready to proceed.
Who's not there?
With further
Kamala?
counting of the
Not voting?
electoral
No,
vote.
remember the Georgia guy.
Vice President,
Oh, that's right.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President.
He doesn't have his vote.
Yeah, he's
So,
not. Yeah.
colleagues, here's where we are. We have a few more speakers now as we wait for the House to finish their debate and vote. We expect the House to finish voting on Arizona between 11:30 and midnight. I ask unanimous consent the Senate be in a period of morning business with the following senators permitted to speak therein for up to 5 minutes each. Senator Toomey, Senator Rubio, Senator Collins.
And on our side, Senators Wyden, Hirono, and Coons.
Finally, following their remarks, the Senate stand in recess subject to the call of the chair.
No.
Maybe not. We may have. We'll figure it out.
The Senate be in a period of morning business with the following senators permitted to speak therein for up to 5 minutes each. Toomey, Rubio, Collins.
Wyden, Hirono, and Coons.
Without objection.
This whole thing, if we get three speakers, you guys got to get 3 speakers. It's like, really? We got to now hear more speeches?
So 6 times 5 is 30. So we got 30 more minutes of bullshit. So yeah, and then they're going to hear the House and whatever.
Not many will.
All bets are Trump opponents, all the protesters.
Non-zero. Which
Confederates.
is one of the reasons they're going to invoke the 25th. I think specifically because of that. Because they're well where he could.
Oh yeah, he could give a blanket pardon.
He could give a blanket pardon, but if he's not president anymore, he can't. So fuck it.
You know what? I've read the pardon power can be so expansive because remember he pardoned the whole Confederacy, not Trump.
Yep.
But but could he pardon for every crime against the United States? Could he do a blanket pardon like that?
Yep. As far as I can tell, sure.
That'd be crazy.
Who were the 6 who said yes?
I'm assuming Cruz said yes, but I'm not sure who the other 6 other people are.
Who are the assholes who said yes?
Now you got that's what you got to Google now. We messed it.
I'm looking it up.
So let's do this. Let me turn this off. So we've been in for an hour and 15 minutes. It's about time for us to get out of here. But let's do one more thing. So predictions for the rest of the night, because when they're going to go to 11:30. So what do you think is going to happen before tomorrow morning? By tomorrow morning, do you think Joe Biden will be president-elect of the United States?
Yes.
And do you think they'll have any more projections?
No, I don't think so. They said they expect the House to be done around 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to rejoin. They're going to do it tonight. They're going to rejoin, and they'll be done inside an hour. So they'll be done by about 1 o'clock, maybe a little bit earlier than that, Eastern time. They'll be done by 1.
And Joe Biden will be the president-elect of the United States. But now what do you think happens to Trump after that? Because now he obviously is going to lose power in 14 days. What do you think happens at that?
Well, I think there's a non-zero chance they invoke the 25th. I think it would be a really smart move to do it at this point, to give a rebuke of him, because there's no disincentive to do so. So to take away his power, give a rebuke, save the republic a little bit. So I'm kind of thinking there's a decent chance they could invoke the 25th and take away his power. You need a majority of the cabinet. I forget how many people are in the cabinet. It's like 20 something. But it's all the secretaries and like the attorney general.
Yeah.
Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Transportation, Health and Human Services, Veteran Affairs, and so forth and so on. There's like 24, 25 of them. They need a majority of them to remove his power. So they need like 12 people to say yes. And yeah, so you need 12 secretaries to say yes, as well as the vice president to take away his power. And then President Trump could challenge. There's just no point because the Congress has to meet within 21 days to decide the issue, and there's only 14 days left.
They'll probably just meet after, like, we'll
we'll meet on day 15. Yeah.
First Lady's chief of staff resigned, just so everybody's up in the First Lady's chief of staff. She resigned in protest.
There's
Some
blood
intelligence
in the water. There's blood in the water.
Are resigning.
I think there's blood in the water. I think there's a lot of incentive, I think, for the Republicans to rebuke Trump. I kind of hope it happens because his protest of the elections and all this stuff and leading to the violence, it's all gone too far. And so I kind of hope it happens at this point. I do. So I hope that they'll invoke the 25th, take away his power, make Mike Pence acting president. Maybe then Pence will pardon Trump as sort of a gracious move too, which is a nice little bonus for Trump.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Nice little bonus for Trump. And there you go. So yeah, Pence can be president for 2 weeks because Trump isn't going to be at the inauguration anyway, and that way he can be there and is representing the president of the United States. So do it.
Question: do states have the right to ban abortions? No, that's a violation of the federal constitution. You cannot ban abortion. So, that's just the way it is right now. Anybody else has any questions? Here's one. Let's just say a lot of DoD members in DC are pissed off about having to work tomorrow. That's true. The Department of Defense, I'm assuming. And any of these politicians that don't accept Biden, there'll be a tacit admission that they don't value democracy. I think the politics are where they are now. I think this thing would happen recently, just sit everybody over the top to say, hey, enough's enough. That this guy's on his way out. Let's stop the bleeding. Because don't forget, there's still got to be a party. Trump is a 70-something-year-old man. There's still got to be a party that goes on after Trump. So you can't, this is when the captain can't take down the ship. He goes down, but the ship still got to go. So I think now people are gonna, have to kind of realize, what's happening. I think that's what happened with Lawful and everybody. Everybody's kind of like, there's life after Trump, and and after he's out of office, I think things may be different. So he has his base now, but if he's not running, it's going to be tough to get. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Do you think Trump runs again in 4 years?
Probably, but I don't think he gets anywhere.
Yeah, former president. It's going to be interesting. All right, guys. Well, listen. My name is Nate the Lawyer. I want to thank you guys for watching us. Check out what's going on. Predictions are they are going to finish this tonight. They said they're going to do it for democracy. Kurt is convinced that they will do it by 1 o'clock, but we'll see this morning, and tomorrow we'll come on and we'll see what happens. But right now it's just it's over. It's obviously over. I might do a stream in the morning, and I don't know if Kurt's going to be up, but we'll see.
We'll see.
And then in the afternoon, I'm
not
probably going
to
be
anything
out
at this point.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit the bed because I am tired. But listen, thank you for you. I hope you guys learned something here new. I hope you guys enjoyed our stream because I know we're not as bold and crazy. It's funny because I know some people are saying that that this was nothing to see here. This is not a big deal, but I don't know. It's hard for me to say an insurrection of the government.
I'm saying invoke the 25th, cut him out like a cancer, disown him. Let's do this thing. It's time. Let's do it.
Well, listen, guys, thanks again for watching. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you listening to us talk this crap, and we will see you next time.